Welcome back to Survive, Rise and Thrive series. We are at episode 17 today, and I'm so pleased to introduce our guest, Raji RV. Sorry, she is AI and automation expert at IBM, and she has an inspiring immigrant journey and a stark personal brand that I see. Thank you so much for joining us, Raji. Welcome.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm so pleased to be in front of you. And I'm so happy to share my journey, right? It's all about inspiring and lifting others as well. So, if my journey is actually going to be helpful and inspiring for others, I'm all in to share it.
Yeah, and today I'm gonna be a silent listener for sure, like other guests. So the first question that I want to ask is the go from the basic, right? So how do you introduce yourself as Razi when someone asks, "So what do you do, Razi?"
So if you ask me professionally, what do I do? My current title is a customer success architect at IBM. But if you look at it from a perspective of what do I do and who I am? So I'm a person who have been in the technology industry, IT and software for last 2 decades, and I help enterprises in optimizing and driving their digital transformation, right? So in the appropriate way, using AI, intelligent automation, and technology in the right way. So basically, putting together strategy plus execution is what I do.
Yeah, I think lots of company nowadays are using AI, and obviously they don't have the roadmap of it. The strategy is the in between, the central place for that, right? And it's good that you are into a booming sector. Like in IT nowadays, you should be in the booming sector. Otherwise, after 5 years, you never know, right? So that's the space we are in, both of us. That's good to know. Thank you so much, Raji, for the lovely introduction. So let's go to a question that is so everyone sees this result here of today, right? Like Raji is in like doing good in LinkedIn. So you have been IBM, you have been in your IBM role, successful branding, everything is there, but what is the invisible work that you have to put in, right? Because you have to put in that nobody sees, right? So what are those invisible work that you put in, and those are absolutely necessary to get where you are today, Razi?
That's a very important question that we all have to ask ourselves. So, what is inspiring us and what is keeping us going, right? So, what are our dreams, or what are our aspirations, or what are our inspirations? So, to me, what you see outside, my LinkedIn branding, or my job at IBM, or some of the work that I'm doing outside, is a reflection of being curious, like and always like keep learning and having that growth mindset, right? A lot of times we actually fear and think that, okay, I'm not good enough. So first of all, that's a wrong thought. So there is no perfect moment or perfect stage saying, like, you know everything or you know it all. Just put yourself out there. That's very important. Showing up is important, and being curious and open for feedback is the most important quality that each person should have. And that's what I myself practice every day, and that's where I see the results that have taken me here.
That's great. Yeah, I think the growth mindset and the consistency that you're talking about, I think these are the things that people don't actually notice, but that is what makes matter, right? So the another piece that is, like sometimes people tries a lot and they're not able to find that place that you're saying, right? They reflect a lot, but even though you try it, it's not happening, right? Sometimes luck comes into picture. But I want you to tell me about your first meaningful opportunity, right? That made you feel that, okay, I'm back to track. And the context to this is obviously you were here in Canada in 2019, if I'm not wrong. So so that moment, if you can recall and tell us, okay, I'm back in the track.
See, the life might actually throw you a lot of curveballs at any point of time, be it whether you are in your home country or in an outside world. outside your home country, the challenges are going to be always there. So I'll tell you, when I landed here in Canada, I moved here as an intra-company transfer, which is a closed work permit. But then unfortunately, the project which was sponsoring my travel and permit and the role could not actually onboard me due to the logistical reasons, unforeseen, uncontrollable, which is out of my hand. Right, I was put on a verge of a situation where I've taken and signed a lease. I have got a car, and then I have a loan, and still there are chances that I might be sent back to my country because if I don't get a project, I might be sent back. So it was a very crucial situation. I did not give up, right? So every day, like people might be asking, like, what's going on? No, no, I think I can make it. Something will happen. I've always stayed positive. It was just me and my son. We moved. We both moved initially. My husband was still back in US with his current job there, and we both, myself and my son, who was just 10 years old, we were there, and I used to go myself. And always thought about, like, what is the value I can bring to the table. That was a game changer, rather than me going and asking for, do you have a role or opening available. So I know the skill internally. I was job hunting, literally.
Yep.
Right. So I was part of the intelligent automation practice that time at Cognizant. I used to go and speak to people who are in insurance business line, or like banking business lines, and then like meet them and then tell them, like, hey, do you know about this intelligent automation? I've been doing this for a while, and this practice have all these skill set. Like, can we talk to customer, identify something, right? So that was the type of conversations I was having, rather than actually going with the mindset of, do you have an opening, right? So and luckily, eventually I landed some opportunity eventually after a few months, but then I got a plenty of support with the approach I was taking, and I have seen the rewards actually come in as well.
Okay, let's keep hunting. No excuses, right? So
Yeah, so change
hustling.
the story, that's all,
Right.
right? So change your story if it's not working.
Yes, I think the value at that piece that you added there, right? I think that's value again. Exactly. So, a lot of the people think that that is one myth, right? So when they come in, and given the fact that you have already have like 15, 20 plus years experience in back home, that also have add a lot, right? So you have to redefine your identity when you are in this country and anywhere else, right? So I think you had us, although it's not a smooth transition, but it's worth it, I guess, right? So
Yeah.
thank you so much for sharing your personal story. You often talk about networking and community, right? Like right now you're saying you have some mentor or a community that you support in that lonely time, right? So but what personal insecurity or fear, right, did you have to overcome before you could start putting yourself out there authentically? Because I see you are putting yourself into a very authentic position, and you have shared a lot of your personal stories as well, right? So what insecurity did you have to overcome for that, Raji?
So uh, like, you don't have to fear if somebody's going to judge you. So overcome that, and the imposter syndrome and feeling not good enough probably might actually stop you. What others might think, or do I know very well? No, like, keep all those things aside and show up genuinely. People will actually acknowledge and value it, because it's your real story, and you are, when the moment you actually keep put yourself out vulnerably and honestly, I think that is a growth trajectory you are setting yourself up into, right? So that the whole the game will change. People will actually resonate, because everybody faces challenges. Everybody is, like, go through hurdles, and you will start seeing the world coming together to support you. So it's so important, like, let go all these fear and everything. That's all going to be there, right? So let's just take it and keep it aside.
Yeah, for sure. I think, and there is a good support system here to support the newcomers, right? I think one of the good thing about Canada, I mean, all the thing, right? But the support system is really good here if you know where to go,
Yeah.
right?
especially when it comes to networking, right? There are different ways of networking, which you brought it up very well, right? So if you come as part of an educational institution, or if you come as part of maybe a transfer of work, then there is an internal networking within your university or education institution, and there is an external networking, right? So the external networking is basically people who are outside that particular network. Like maybe if you belong to automotive industry, who are the leaders that focused on the automotive industry in your locality, then that becomes your external network. Or if you've come from a civil engineering background, then look for the organizations focused on the civil engineers. Or if you are coming from a software engineering organizations, look for the ones that are actually active in the local environment, or your schools like clubs. That becomes your network, right? So that's the way you need to actually inculcate a network. So that's the, because it's this, in this world, network is essential. And look at the way that the jobs are emerging, right? So a lot of older roles are going to get eliminated and newer roles are going to come, right? So we need to be actually networking to know what the changes are happening,
Yeah.
as well as the in the people's book when a role comes up.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's good to have a proactiveness, right? That is what stands out between a person who is actually thinking about it and the doer, right? So the proactiveness of the thing and the networking aspect. We'll talk about networking now, since you have already brought this topic. So give me a practical example of a networking that really works for you in your journey of Canada. Can you point out some thing that it's really a practical sense?
I'll give you an example of one of the networking which I did and eventually landed as a new opportunity. So I just registered just like a normal person to the local Fanshawe College open house, and I straight up went to the booths over there where the dean of the department and all the professors were there, because it's an open house, right? So they were all supposed to be there to actually talk to the prospective students. So I kind of reached out and said, hey, I live here and I work at IBM and I would like to actually give back something to the community. Tell me, these are my expertise, how can I help you? So the immediate thing I heard was, the dean said, like, I'm an ex-IBMer. I'm so happy you came and asked me, which became a small world now.
Yes.
And he said, like, come and join our PAC committee. So he pulled me into part of the program advisory committee.
Got it.
And then that became like a stepping stone to actually get engaged much more closely with the college. And then they invited me for panel discussions and workshops, and then I published a course with them. So all these things wouldn't have happened if I did not showed up for the open house and met the dean and then said, I'm here to offer.
Yeah, and that's the power of networking, right? So
Exactly.
people think that networking is like, go to the LinkedIn, DM some of the people that you are really actively following, and then that's all, right? But I think networking is part, that is one part. The second part is obviously outside the IT, right? You have to, I'll tell you an example, right? So in I used to go to any community event, okay? It doesn't have to be one community, right? It can be any community, just to see what's going on in there, right? The curious mind that I had brought me so many new perspective in this part of world, right? Again, I really like the networking part, not just because it's bringing me those career perspective, but to learn more, broaden their horizon, right? And I
Yeah.
think that is the thing that people are not able to do here because of so many reasons. So we are not going there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's double down into networking here, right? People often talk about cold outreach, external outreach, whatnot, right? So uh, and you, I think there is inbound, outbound networking. So there's so many different terms, but to simplify all this, I see you are doing so much. Like, you have a stark profile in LinkedIn, and you share, like, you have been doing a lot in the LinkedIn, and then I can see a lot of growth there, right? But what changed for you after you start posting those, right? I think that is another networking kind of a networking thing, saying that, hey, I'm here, I'm standing here, I'm doing this thing, and this is building my profile and all that, right? So what changed for you after you start posting them in the LinkedIn or any other social site?
So you basically build credibility, obviously. And I would even say, even before I started posting so much and consistently, it used to be like, pretty minimal in LinkedIn. And you wouldn't believe the job that I have at IBM. The recruiter reached out to me through LinkedIn, looking at the content that I curate and post, which I'm telling you, it's not at all that frequent. It used to be much more less, and probably I will post like 2 to 3 times in a week or a month. That's all I used to do. But then I used to be like pretty authentic and share what I have learned and what I see coming, etc. Right. So none in the intelligent automation space. So from there, the recruiter reached out to me, and then we started speaking, and I could see that the recruiter have an exact match for my profile, and the role is suitable for me. And in fact, the recruiter waited for 1 month for me to actually
Wow.
get going with the next step, because I was still waiting for my PR.
Okay.
So that is a stark thing which I would like to call out. And right now, if you look at my LinkedIn contributions, have actually opened up multitude of opportunities. Like, the one that we are speaking right now, the
Yeah,
podcast.
sure.
And then last week I was in office, and it was some new technology training sessions at IBM office. There was a new joinee, and looks like he is already connected with me in LinkedIn. And he came up to me and then had a conversation. That was the first time we are meeting him in person. We both are meeting, and he sounded in a very natural way that he already know me.
Okay.
So we both had such a nice conversation,
Got it.
as if he knew me already, and he was opening up. So look at the change, right? You do not need an immediate conversation of like a formal introduction. It became so natural, as if for a while, and you're just jumping into the next steps of what are you doing, what am I doing, can we do something, and kind of a
Good
next
rapport,
steps, right?
Yeah.
It builds a rapport, it builds a trust, and it builds actually conversations much more faster.
Well, if you remember that we met in Delightica's, I think that is the first time that we met, and then we met in the again the track unit workshop that we're doing, right? And here we are, right? So it's like I've been following you. I know what you're doing, and then obviously there's an intersection thing. Activity that we can do, and this is one of the outcome of that, right? So obviously, I mean, the cold outreach really works in that way, right? If you really authentically, genuinely know that person, then it will work. And then, like you said, there's a head start that you get, which you won't get anywhere, right? So 100% on that. So let's talk about the actionable step again, right? So let's say someone is
I want to add upon the cold outreach part a little bit, right? I have done, or I used to have, I have implemented cold reach even before I realized what I'm doing was a cold reach. Right. So a lot of people think cold reach is why should I be doing, or there is an ego coming into picture in the cold outreach piece. You really don't need to put your ego when you're actually doing a cold outreach. It's okay, just go give it a try, and if it's going to work, it's going to work, right? It's going to work in your favor. Why do you want to actually leave that chance? So this was back in actually when I was doing my master's. I did a cold outreach for my final semester project in my master's. I have done this to a lot of premier institutions in India, IITs, Indian Institute of Science, triple ITs. So, and surprisingly, out of all the cold outreaches I did, I got a positive response from at least 4 different institutions,
Mm-hmm.
which are topmost in India,
Nice.
accepting the project internship offer, right? So, but unfortunately, I didn't take any of those things because I got a different job prior to that, and
Mm-hmm.
but it worked. And then, like even today, as part of my job, I still do cold outreaches,
Never
and
know.
you don't need to actually feel or like bring your ego in between that.
Exactly. No, there is one famous YouTuber, if you know him or not, Ankur Wariko. So he says this quote every time. If you don't ask, the answer is always no, right?
Yes,
Yeah. So it doesn't hurt if you ask,
yeah,
in the right way, respectful way again,
exactly,
right,
yeah.
Raji? Yeah. So yeah, I was talking about the actionable step now. So let's say from this podcast someone is very motivated, pump up, let's go, okay, we want to do a networking. So what are those 5 actionable step, you know, in terms of networking that he or she can do from this week? Let's start from this week. What are the 5 top actionable items?
I would do this in a hand in hand manner.
Mm-hmm.
So building your personal brand and building your network goes hand in hand.
Okay.
So you if you have to build your brand, get clarity of what is that, who you are, and what is that you are offering value to whom,
Yeah.
the audience.
TG. Yeah. Direct
Yeah, the
audience.
audience, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then start putting out at least 3 content targeted about who you are and what you're doing and what is catering to which target audience. You could be catering to your students, or you could be catering to customers, or you could be talking to somebody who's actually an investors, right? They might be your customers, right? So identify that, and then start posting at least 3 content per week, and then be intentional, so do not hesitate about following the right people. The network actually is a ripple effect, right? You when you surround yourself with the right set of people,
Mm-hmm.
you are automatically you would automatically start growing
Yeah. Yeah. You
there.
consume the thing that you want to
Yes.
consume, right?
Yeah. So identify at least 3 people
Mm-hmm.
whom you would like to actually network,
Okay.
and that's like the second thing.
Second.
And the third thing, to keep up with the momentum and inspiration, have a journal and practice reflection as part of your journey, right? How your content is actually performing, and what you think you need to continuously improve,
Yep.
and reflect on it, and so that you can improve it, right? And then the fourth thing is act as if you are already there. Let's say, for example, leadership, right? So
Mm-hmm.
there is no formal degree for leadership, so you have to start behaving like a leader, and you have to start showing up like a leader, right? So in the same way, um, that's part of the manifestation, right?
Yeah.
So you have to manifest. So if you are looking for something, or like if you're looking for a target state, manifest as if you are already that person.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how you need to act, right? I think these qualities will actually take you to where you are, right? So it's not just the like, can I just post something and talk to random people? No, that's not how, right? So you start posting, start following, start speaking, and show up in a local event, or if that does not allow you, your financial situation is not allowing you to show up in a in-person event, there are virtual events that you can show up,
Yep.
right? So for free, so register and show up and engage genuinely in the form of conversation. And then the LinkedIn algorithms, like genuinely commenting on people,
Correct.
and sharing, like even the algorithm actually looks into the comments as well.
Mm-hmm.
So you can actually start building network through those meaningful comments.
Yes, for sure. I think that's a heavy loaded answer from Raji. So we'll have that recap as well. The top 5 steps. Let's go to a world where, like, let's address the elephant in the room, and that's AI, right? So one thing I forgot about you is that you're an angel investor as well. I think I don't know what that means, but yeah, like I've been following founders who have been taking fun from the angels, right? So I will talk about that more, but let's talk about AI, right? So the first thing about AI that comes in mind is like people are talking about AI transformation now, right? Like you said, digital transformation. Okay, I think that's old concept now. I think people are
Yeah.
talking about AI
AI.
transformation. The Google
Yeah.
Trend shows that, right? So what does that actually mean in the real world? AI transformation.
See, to me, the AI is, of course, the AI that we are in the era of like AI,
Yeah.
and everything that we were doing so far has been how can we use AI on an existing process, right? So it used to be plus AI. So there is a
Yes.
process. How can I add
AI
AI
into it.
along with it? But now the shift is actually happening from AI first. So I want everything in the process to be done by AI, and then rest of it will come to the human, and or like rest of it comes for the human to perform as a review and then like approve.
Yeah.
So the shift happening is from plus AI to AI plus.
Okay. So it's like plus is coming front now, like pre,
Exactly.
not post.
Right, so
Okay.
AI is coming to the front.
That's
So
great.
it used to be at the end, like, but now it is in the front.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so we are going to let AI drive and AI do most of the things
Mm-hmm.
with the human oversight.
Yes.
I do not believe still AI can actually be autonomous
Mm-hmm.
and left without any
Yes.
oversight.
Mm-hmm.
There is an absolute need of human oversight because um, AI can go wrong,
Mm-hmm.
right? We don't want that kind of a situation. So it needs to be a responsible AI implementation, and there is a huge rush to actually who's going to be grabbing this AI market pie, and with respect to everything, right?
Yes.
With
Yeah.
respect to compute, with respect to
Infra.
models,
Yeah.
infra,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
everything, right? So, and with respect to implementation, no industry wants to be left behind and lose business.
Mm-hmm.
So that is also driving the industry to actually start adopting,
Mm-hmm.
moving from their pilot to actual implementation.
Exactly. No, I'm laughing because in my company also, like the executive level who are in C-suite are like talking about, okay, how do we implement this AI, bring some streamlining our process, increase productivity, everything, right?
Mm.
And the other side, the staff are really worried, right? Okay, if this AI is coming, and I am I replaceable now, right? So there are two things,
Yes.
two perspective, right? But obviously, like you said, human on the loop is always required. It's just you have to upgrade yourself so that AI, right? At
Yes.
least at that level that okay, it is useful. So there are two ways to do that. Either you go hardcore AI developer, or you use AI, or augment AI, right? So
Yes.
that's the word I think that people use nowadays. Thank you so much for a real world example. So let's talk about those IT professional, right? Because you and I are in the IT profession. So many AI profession, like I said, are actually in fear of AI that they will replace their role, right? What's your honest take on that? Let's take a spectrum of years, right? Right now, they are fearing, right? And what's your honest take on after 5 years, or starting 2026? I don't know, but yeah, what's your take there?
I'm sure it's going to shift. A lot of roles that we have today probably might shrink because of AI. And that is also going to open up multiple other opportunities, right? So, as well as, uh, for example, the skills that are required might actually shift.
Yep.
It is no longer like the coding might be the required skill, right? So it is going to be like reviewing the code might be important, or like looking for any like loops where the security threats can be another challenge, or like being applying critical skills, right?
Yep.
So if you look at the job report from World Economic Forum
Mm-hmm.
2030 job skills report, it clearly says like critical thinking and being like identifying empathy
Yeah,
and
that's
applying human skills are going to be in more demand than the other technical skills apart from the AI literacy. So if you were to conquer your fear, get yourself creative.
Yeah.
If you're a creative person, probably you're much more safer.
Yep. Yep.
Or you need to actually build your AI literacy and
Mm-hmm.
acumen,
Mm-hmm.
and learn to use AI and start adopting AI. So that's the only way, right? We have seen multiple um, booms in the
Past
past
as
as
well.
well,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so I think one of the thing that my current managers is that in our job we need more EQ than
Yes,
IQ, right?
yes,
And IQ, as the label says, right, it can be replaceable for sure, because computer, we cannot compete with computer, supercomputer or
yeah,
whatever
yeah.
quantum computers now. But EQ is something that we still have that in ourselves. So what are the other so since in this post AI era, like you said, tools are can automate knowledge as well now, right? Like you said, what do you believe will remain uniquely human that cannot be easily replicable, right? So what are those unique qualities that you see in human as of now, or maybe relevant in next 5 years?
Definitely the human specific skills, the creative thinking, critical thinking, empathy, and as you mentioned,
Q,
emotional
intelligence.
quotient.
Mm-hmm.
Like, a lot of like AI can actually teach you, but it cannot coach you,
Mm-hmm.
right? So these are the things that will still remain very, very close to human. And irrespective of the role that you are playing, these are the important qualities that you need to still apply along with using the AI tools, right?
Mm-hmm.
Irrespective of the roles, all these qualities are required.
Yeah, I think one of the key takeaway that you recently have with Mavin, right? The I forgot the title, but it was something to do with tech
Tech sales,
sales IT
yes.
professional, right? And the thing that you started with was the human aspect, that in this world post AI era, right? The human aspect that you know so much, and you know the person sitting before you, and you know the pitch that will actually impact them emotionally, and rather than cost effective or cost analysis, right? I think
Yeah.
that was a great session, Raji, actually. I really love it. It's there in my LinkedIn as well as a takeaway for me
Yeah.
to reflect on, right? So let's go to the last segment of my of our podcast. It can be more personal, but I'll leave it to you how much you can talk about it, right? So let's say, Raji, you if you were taken back in 2029 when you just landed in this North America, right? What message would you like to give that Raji from this Raji at
Uh,
that time when you just landed in Canada? Like, what are the messages that you want to say, to that Raji?
um, if I go back and tell her, like, will I say something different to her? The answer is maybe like, slow down a bit.
Okay. Okay.
And then yeah, so you need to um, still prioritize better.
Got it.
Maybe.
Nice. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
prioritization is one that's funny, right? Because uh, there are so many factors that depends on the in that condition, right? Like the way you are there, the mindset that you have that
Mm,
time, right? So there are so many factors when you think about even the reflection part as also, right? Because it was, you haven't been in Canada that time, right? And you would not know obviously about the things that so there are so many
yeah.
learnings. I think if I see my journey 4 years back, right, the way I think about world is changed has changed now.
Yes,
And
definitely.
that's not because I am here, that's because I have lived that experience, right?
Yeah,
So live
yeah.
experience is one thing that you also mentioned so many time in the LinkedIn.
Yeah, and one more thing probably I would tell Raji is to trust the process.
Wow, that's a big
Uh,
one. Yes.
trust the process, right? So because that is something we all sometimes get a self doubt, like, is this happening, or am I missing things, and self doubts that comes up, right? So then that totally derails our current set of actions that we are having.
Mm-hmm.
So I would probably tell her, like, so just calm down, slow down, prioritize, just do whatever you can do,
Mm-hmm.
don't try to control everything, and
Mm-hmm.
trust the process.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I think it's the same thing. If you look now, 2025. If you
Yeah,
have to go 2030 and then say the same thing, I think it will be the same thing,
same
right?
thing.
It's
Yeah,
universal thing that
yeah.
everyone
So
needs to take away. Yeah, all right, that's great. So this is my question actually. uh, so I see you're saying a lot of things, right? And especially in the recent time, you're sharing a very personal and vulnerable experience, right? I also want to do that, but I feel there is some kind of a guardrail, right? How do you decide what to share and what not to share? I want to know from you.
um, so there's nothing wrong in actually sharing something personal or vulnerable, as long as you feel that is going to actually help your reader to with a takeaway or a message or a learning.
Mm-hmm.
Unless see, you don't have to fear, unless until you are actually hurting someone, or you're actually
Disrespecting
yeah,
something,
right.
got
So
it.
you're not hurting anyone, or you're not actually putting anybody down, or you're not actually harming anyone. So as long as you're not doing that, you are sharing something personal about yourself, I think that's totally okay. And probably I feel maybe I'm old enough to actually let go the other people's judgment.
Yes, judgments. Yes, 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 for sure. I got the answer. Thank you so much, Raji. So I think this is the second last question that I have. So let's look into the future. What's next for Raji? What are the projects, goals, or a mission that you are looking forward to in 2026 and more?
Yeah, so if you ask me 2026, I definitely want to get a little bit deeper into the other space which you talked about, the angel investing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one space which I would like to focus myself on 2026.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to definitely establish more connections with the founders, and help especially women entrepreneurs who are founders in the journey,
Mm-hmm.
support them. That's one thing I'm looking forward. And apart from that, I'm also closely associated with the students and the community, and especially the learnings that I have from closely working with by working with the industry leaders, and the day-to-day learnings from IBM, and self-learning which I do continuously. I should be able to actually share that and bring that knowledge to multiple people, which I would like to spread that knowledge as well. So, getting myself out there more, and sharing the responsible and explainable AI practices out to the world is definitely there in the cards for me for the next year.
Yeah, that sounds like a plan actually. And obviously, I think the YouTube videos that you put in your YouTube channel, Explainable AI, are really helpful for people who want to start with AI and want to learn what's going on in the AI space, right? Definitely, please check out those YouTube link. I'll put that in the description as well. Raji, there is a final question, but before that, I have one more question. Is there anything that you want to share and I didn't ask? Is there anything like that? You can share that.
Um, Definitely, I would like to call out. See, never think that you are good, not good enough. Like, I come from a really humble beginning. I was born and brought up in a small pilgrimage based village town in India, and who was basically raised in a complete joint family, where with the belief or thought process of, like, hey, girl childs, it's okay, they will grow up and get married. And But I had a dream, and I wanted to chase this dream of, like, getting into the corporate life, and growing up, and, like, proving and having a career for myself. And it happened. And I'm so happy that if I can do it, anybody can do it, right? So I was able to stay consistent, and persevere, and come out of it.
That's great. I think you have the blessing from the privilege from the childhood itself, because you are blessed with the uh, at your birth itself, right? So I think you have, I really like those aspects. Whenever I see Kantara's kind of movie, right? there is certain force that's actually driving you, and you never know it's with you, right? So I think I see that jail, I see that abundant mindset, right? And that's why I want to bring people like you who want we can inspire my audience, even me, right? It starts with us, me. So I have lots of key takeaways from today, and I'm sure you guys will also have that. uh, if we have to end this podcast, is there something you want to leave our audience with, or are we good with the podcast? Do you have any last final thought before we wrap up?
Maybe I will just add this one statement which I keep telling myself and others as well. So, if you feel like today's didn't go in your way, that's fine. Rest, reset, and repeat.
Rest, reset, and repeat.
Yeah,
All right, we will repeat again after in
yeah.
our next episode, episode 18. So for till then, stay tuned. Thank you so much, Raji, and thank you everyone. As you see this new studio, but there are so many invisible hands that are doing the great job for us. Thank you so much, team, and I will see you in next one. Thank you everyone. Bye bye.
Thank you all.